Have you ever had that hunch, that feeling that something bad was fixing to happen?
I'm just a little shocked that was the answer.
Yeah, that's the feeling I had all week about this Jets game.
You shuffle that many times to the outside and DeVonta Smith just gets smaller and smaller and smaller as he...
Have you ever had that deep down feeling inside your gut that, you know what, people are misreading this situation. They are misreading this game.
He goes down the field and the DBs have a chance to react to it.
Yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got from this particular game.
The Jets have never beat the Eagles, like ever.
Reason being, man, I know week 1 is the greatest deceiver in the NFL. However,
throw behind Diggs, it's 4th down.
Let's be real, man. They had beaten the Bills without Aaron Rodgers. Second player, whatever it was, into it as Aaron Rodgers went down. And then they turned around last week and they played Kansas City down to the final seconds of that game. To be honest with you, Kansas City probably got away with one and was pretty fortunate in that game.
Bringing pressure, Mahomes throwing it up for grabs again. It's intercepted.
So I knew going in here, like, this team it's got a tendency to kind of play up the competition. It can really, really be a difficult team to defeat. I mean, it already beat the Bills, and it already took, the defending Super Bowl champions down to the last second, and they actually had to get out of that game. They had to survive it somehow. So I had an impending sense of doom, of dread about playing this game, especially when we started seeing each and every piece fall apart for the Eagles.
And so that Eagles defense, sudden change, no problem for Philadelphia.
I need to picture this, guys. Darius Slay's down. Reed Blankenship leaves. Sidney Brown doesn't get activated for the game. Roby goes down in the slot. I mean, 1 by freaking 1. We started flying off the board. They just started dropping, man. Eli Ricks went out of this game. We were already down Jalen Carter. I don't think Marlon Tuipulotu played. This was definitely one of those games where I just had a sense, I had a dread that people were reading this game wrong. And I would see these comments, things like the Jets stink. And then I would read things like the Eagles offense will beat the Jets down and control the clock. We got full of ourselves. And welcome to being humbled. All right, y'all. Let's get it. What's up, Cerebral Football fans? My name is Steven Hyder. This is Gate City Sports Channel. 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers. Are you kidding me? In the Lombardi era, since the 1966 season, do you know how many games the Eagles have turned the ball over 4 or more times? 152. Do you know what our record is in those 152 games? We are 38-114. That is a 25% win rate. If you spin those numbers a different way, one could say reasonably, the minute we committed our 4th turnover, regardless of the time that was on the clock or the position in which it occurred on the field, we had a 75% likelihood of losing that game by our own franchise's mark. And the crazy thing about these turnovers are, it's like we had a flavor for every type of turnover you could potentially have. You want the fluke turnover, the freak one, the one that's like, well, geez, I mean, I didn't have that on a bingo card. See the Dallas Goedert one, to where he goes to secure the catch, the defender comes in and punches the ball out through his arms, it floats up in the air and then lands right in Quinnen Williams' hands. I don't know how that's a difficult one to predict or to prevent, guys, to be quite honest, right? You want the one to where I would probably lay it at the feet of the coaching a little bit. See the one to where the protection did not match the route development, okay? To where you have Jack Driscoll in the game. He probably needs help and assistance over there given the down and distance we're facing. You don't lend any kind of assistance there. And then he gets beat. Jalen Hurts goes to throw the football. His arm gets disrupted throwing the ball, and then it just kind of floats in the air until it's picked off. The 3rd interception we had in this game, Jalen Hurts, and this was probably the most soul-crushing one. Jalen Hurts makes a really uncharacteristic error for him to where, to me, it looks like he misreads the leverage of the cornerback and just makes a terrible decision with the football, throws it That ends up being the 4th turnover of the game and the 3rd interception of the game, and effectively ended the game. Cherry on top, you have the fumble that kind of occurred on a little quick route that was out there to DeAndre Swift, to which the ball just, you got to give the Jets credit, man. It was a really good effort play. It was a really good hustle and effort play, to be quite real about it. We had every single flavor of turnover I think you could potentially have outside of probably a strip sack. I mean, it was so eerily similar to me in some regards. Okay, I'm not going to say every game has its own identity. Every game has its own feel, its own culture, if you will. Its own set of rules, if you will. But it was in some regards so similar to the Washington game last year. To that game in Philly, we played Washington to where we were clearly the favorite team. We were on a roll. We were 8-0, and then we laid a goose egg up there. I mean, it was just ugly from a turnover perspective. And I got to give the defense credit. The defense held this team to under 250 total yards. The defense held this team to 2 of 11 on 3rd down. The defense still helped us win TOP, although it was pretty close to being a 50-50 split there. I thought the defense did a good job from the regards of how they play things. The bend don't break style. They held them to field goals. If we could have just simply created that little separation in the second half, we just needed one score, we would have been there. And then there was probably, in my opinion, one of the most heart-wrenching and heartbreaking moments of the football game. Jake Elliott missing a field goal, a chip shot, a give me, a freaking layup, if you will, for this young man. Jake Elliott has been money on the season. It's been money for the last couple of seasons. If we're going to be real, if we're going to tell it, let's tell it. He shanked that. He shanked what probably would have been a pivotal, possession for us to put points up on the board. At that point, it would have been up 17-12. Errors. Just an ugly game full of errors. I don't know how else this can be stated. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pleasant. And I'm not proud of the product that this team put on the field offensively. And I think there's blame to go all around for this football team. I don't think the coaching was that great. I don't think the play calling was that great in certain regards, okay? I get these things have nuance. When I'm criticizing the play calling, the thing that bothered me the most was the lack of thought around replacing Lane Johnson with Jack Driscoll and not lending Jack Driscoll help in key moments. I get it. When teams are dropping 7-8 into coverage, there's only so much help you can lend on a 3 or 4 man rush. They got to stand up. I understand that. But circumstantially, depending on where you're on the field, if it's 3rd down or if you're back up against the goal line, lend a hand. Help the young man out. It's hard to come off the bench cold. I want to blame Jack Driscoll. I want to just lay it at the feet of the player. But it ain't just the player. That's a hard task to do. I've had a lot of guys I've talked to that have played the game at a high level tell me it's really difficult to come off the bench as an offensive lineman cold and insert yourself into a game, especially when you don't get the practice reps. You're not there getting the feel and the timing of what they're trying to do. 4 turnovers. Sloppy play. Sloppy coaching. This team earned its trouble, if you will. This team earned its loss, if you will. It's just disappointing, man. There was a lot of people running around here just thought this was just going to be a give-me game. Yeah, we got something. They gave us something, all right. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all's time and attention. I'm as disappointed as you. I'm hoping this team can refocus itself because we have a real difficult opponent coming up in Miami. That is a very good offense. We're going to need to be refocused. And boy, they need to find some solutions into the secondary. We're going to need a lot of guys to return healthy because if not, it's going to get ugly. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace. I'm out of here.